Here we are at example 8 from our 4.6 set of notes. We're asked to solve using the quadratic formula. And to do that, we're going to get everything to one side and 0 on the other. So we're going to go ahead and take away this 2x from both sides and add this 5 to both sides. On the right side, they cancel out, leaving us with our 5x squared minus 2x plus 5 equals 0. Next, we're going to go ahead and identify our a, b, and c. So a is 5, b is negative 2, and c is also 5. As always, we're going to rewrite the quadratic formula. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. And now we're going to go ahead and place those values in where they appropriately belong. So we have x equals opposite of b, in this case it's negative 2, plus or minus square root of b is negative 2 squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Okay. Also, notice how our square root does extend to the end. Okay, make sure that that's also included. Oh, instead of a, we need to plug in our number. We've got 5. All right, so we've placed in our numbers. Now we're going to go ahead and kind of clean things up a little bit. Opposite of negative 2, we're really just having a positive 2 there. Plus or minus square root of negative 2 squared is 4. And then we have negative 4 times 5 times, looks like another 5 gives us negative 100. All over 10. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and combine our like terms here. So we have x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 96 all over 10. And now, guys, we see that we have a negative number there, right? Well, this is where imaginary numbers start to pop up. And this year, I wish we had more time to really talk about imaginary numbers. Maybe next week we'll have like more of a formal lesson on that. But for today, I just wanted to kind of give you like a kind of like quick crash course on the negatives when you encounter these. We would have what we call an imaginary number, okay? So x equals 2 plus or minus. Anytime you see a negative in a square root like that, you immediately pull that negative out and it becomes an I. All right? And again, if we were having our normal year, we would talk about why that is. But for us right now, all you need to really know is anytime you see a negative in the square root like that, you pull out an I. Okay? And then we have to deal with our 96. And so when we're talking about like factors of 96, we know that we can pull out a good of 16 and 6. So we're doing good and garbage here. And this is 10 still in the denominator. As a result, we then have x equals 2 plus or minus. That good of 16 comes out to be 4. Then we have our I, square root of 6, all over 10. And now we just have to simplify this up. So we're going to be, again, using that butterfly method. So x equals 1 over 5 plus or minus. This 4 and this 10 are the only numbers that are kind of interacting with one another because they're considered outside numbers. Okay? Whereas this 6 is on the inside. So only the 4 and the 10 are going to interact with one another. When you simplify those, we end up with 2i. We keep what's inside the square root, all over 5 in this case. So this would be our simplified version. Okay? Now, again, example 8 is really good just because you will for sure encounter negatives inside of a square root. And again, just a quick crash course. When you encounter those, You're just pulling out an I, okay? Perhaps next week we'll talk about why that is. It's not very hard. You just need to understand, oh, we pull a negative out. Now it's an imaginary. That's what that I stands for. It's an imaginary number, okay? But again, though, this is our solution. For example, 8 from our 4.6 set of notes.